Hello football! As you know, the stories of many modern football players, the stories of their formation, often associated with overcoming difficulties and poverty. Such difficult living conditions motivate them to work hard and succeed in the end. But among the top players there are some guys who grew up in very comfortable conditions, and it is them that today we will talk about. So, in 7th place we have Dele Alli from Tottenham. He is the son of a Nigerian millionaire and even managed to spend a short period of his life in luxury when his father invited him to his homeland at the age of 9. There he studied at a private school and lived in an expensive mansion. But it lasted only a year. Then Dele, who dreamed of playing football, returned to England and, straight out of luxury, plunged almost to the very bottom. It is important to understand that Dele's father left his mother literally a week after the birth of his son, while in addition to Dele, the mother had 3 more children whom she tried to raise alone. Then his mother began to have problems with alcohol, and as for Dele, his only joy was playing football. Fortunately, at the age of 11, he managed to get into the Milton Keynes Dons Academy, where he met Harry Hickford, who became a real hero for the boy. The fact is that later the Hickford family took Dele in. To be more precise, at the age of 13, Ali moved away from his mother forever. In the new family he didn't have material problems, because the head of the family was the owner of a construction company, and they also lived in a favorable area where Dele Alli could fully concentrate on football. In 6th place we have Patrick Bamford, one of the main leaders of Leeds United. His father was an architect and his mother worked in a beauty salon, so Patrick never felt in need and he lived in pretty comfortable conditions. He studied at a private school and from the age of 8 he trained at the Nottingham Forest Academy. Parents brought up discipline and talent in him, and the family had a rule that study was at the first place and only after schoolwork Patrick could practice football. Therefore, Patrick passed all the exams with excellent marks and was even invited to Harvard. In addition to studying, Bamford played several musical instruments: piano, violin, guitar and saxophone. And in addition to his native language, he learned to speak German, French and Spanish well. And most likely he studied all these in order to be left behind and to be allowed to play his beloved football. Also, if we talk about sports, then at school Patrick played rugby instead of football for some time, and this probably affected his physical conditions and helped him to act more confidently in football. In general, we can say that Bamford had an amazing upbringing and childhood. In 5th place we have Mario Balotelli. It is worth starting our story with the fact that he was born into a poor family of immigrants from Ghana, and since childhood he had health problems and his parents couldn't provide him with treatment, so they transferred him to a foster family. And in fact, when the boy was 3 years old, the Balotelli family, which is one of the wealthiest and most influential families in the city of Brescia, took custody of Mario. And therefore Mario didn't feel a need, and probably on the contrary he was even spoiled too much, otherwise how to explain all his funny antics and behavior? In 4th place we have Antoine Griezmann, who was greatly influenced by his father. Antoine never had financial difficulties. His father worked for the Macon City Council for a long time, and the family lived in their own 2-story house. And in the yard of this house, Griezmann took his first steps in football, where his father made a wooden goal for his son. From the age of 5, his father began to take Griezmann to the stadiums. They tried to attend all the home matches of Lyon, and once his father even arranged for Antoine to meet his idol, Sonny Anderson from Lyon. Also seeing talent in his son, his father began to take him to auditions in good academies in France, such as Sochaux, Saint-Étienne, Metz, Auxerre and so on. The most interesting thing is that Griezmann generally got into big football by a lucky chance. Going through another club, this time it was Montpellier, he came on as a substitute in a friendly match against PSG and was noticed by Real Sociedad scout, who watched that match. And that is how Griezmann got into big football. In third place, we have David Alaba, who has very interesting family roots. David's father, George Alaba, is the crown prince of the Nigerian city of Ogere in Ogun State. According to the plans, he was supposed to go to Vienna to study economics and after that to continue his father's work. However, George's career turned out differently. He became a famous DJ and rap artist, whose projects were quite popular in the 90s. Alaba's father even opened his own club and he got Austrian citizenship. And of course, the father, who was popular and had a good income, tried to provide a career for his children as early as possible. He quickly attached David to the Austrian Academy in Vienna and provided his daughter with a musical education. In the end, David became one of the best Austrian football players in history. For you to understand, he made his debut in the national team earlier than at the professional adult level. And his sister has become a popular musician and her songs are high on the charts in Austria. In second place is Hugo Lloris, who was born and raised on Côte d'Azur in a very wealthy family. His mother was a fairly successful lawyer and his father worked as a banker in Monte Carlo, and naturally they were interested in their son finding his calling and they would certainly support any of his passions. Initially, Hugo was sent to tennis, where he achieved significant success and by the age of 13 he was one of the best juniors in France, but at the same time he played football from the age of 6 and at the age of 10 he got into the Academy of Nice. It is also worth noting that an important condition for playing football was a good study at school, so from an early age, Lloris really worked hard and did everything for that. But in order to continue his professional career, he still had to choose one of two sports, and Lloris settled on football and eventually grew to the main team of the Nice club. By the way, he combined football with studies right up to the moment of receiving a bachelor's degree. At the same time, in order to get into the main team of Nice, he worked hard in training. In general, Lloris can be very well described by his own quote: "My parents taught me that when you are doing something, you have no right to give up. If you do something, you must do it with full dedication. Only then will you achieve results and enjoy what you have done." And now, the first place. Here we have Gerard Pique, whose life was successful from the very beginning. Not only did he have rich parents, but they were also directly related to the Barça football club, since Gerard's grandfather worked on the board of directors of Barça and even served as vice president. Actually, he immediately at birth issued Pique membership in the club. As for the parents, Pique's father is a successful lawyer and businessman, and his mother is the director of a well-known clinic specializing in spinal injuries, so Gerard's comfortable existence was ensured from birth. But we must pay tribute to the player, because he independently went through a serious path, which included a business trip to Manchester United, a loan to Saratoga, and only after that he returned to his native Barcelona, for which he has already spent 14 seasons as a main player and leader of the defense. Like all the players on our list, if Pique had not given himself completely to football, it's unlikely that he would have been able to reach all the heights and win all possible trophies at club and national team level. In addition to football itself, Pique coped with actively managing social networks, he has his own video game development company, his own esports team, he is a co-owner of a meat products business, and he even helps Barca with sponsorship contracts. For example, it was Gerard Pique who organized the meeting between Bartomeu and the owner of Rakuten, which subsequently was the club's title sponsor for 4 years. So in addition to being a top football player, Pique is also one of the main businessmen in the football world. I think our issue clearly explains that rich parents and a well-to-do childhood are not necessarily a sign of spoilage. The main thing is the inner desire and aspiration. And what do you think about that? Give me a note in comments. Antonio Rudiger was with you. See you in the next episode. Bye!